Welcome to the CreditSense tutorial on the MyFico Equifax. Now this credit report is one of the only credit reports available online for consumers to pull that actually have a legitimate FICO score. And it is available from MyFico.com, sold by the algorithm company themselves. So let's take a look at this credit report and we'll go section by section so we can understand how to read it, what it means, and if you're a CreditSense client, how to pull the information out of it so you can fill out your tables, your worksheets, and your calculators. This is an Equifax report, and in big bold numbers they give you your FICO score, and then most importantly they give you kind of the good and the bad of what your score represents. Payment history is not good, amount of debt is actually bad, but the length of credit history is very good, and the amount of new credit is great. So FICO scores here, as they say, range between 300 and 850 for the calculation software. Let's continue down and take a look. The next page, it tells us what's hurting our credit score, followed by what helps the credit score. So, and gives us some details. So the very first thing for this particular client is, number one, they have a public record, serious delinquency and collection on the credit report. And then it gives you kind of what high achievers experience on their credit reports so you can kind of compare. Number two, for this particular client, they've recently missed a payment or had a derogatory indicator on the credit report. And they give some details. The third one is they've made heavy use of the available revolving credit. That usually means their balances are high, or what's called utilization. Their utilization is high. And if you have a number four, they have multiple accounts showing missed payments or derogatories. So number four and number two, this is you've missed a payment, but this number four means you have multiple accounts where you have missed payments or derogatories. Okay, so continuing, the next section they talk about is what's helping your score, and as on the very first page indicated, they have an established credit history, over 14 years of positive credit. That their oldest account was opened 14 years ago. And the average age of the account is 7 years, and the average age of accounts for high achievers is between 6 and 12. So the credit history is helping significantly. If they didn't have If their average age was 2 or 3 years, or their oldest account was 5 or 7 years, they'd probably be in the mid 500s. All right, let's take a look at this section. I'll let you review. It's very well laid out. It's just how lenders see you and what the different rates would be at the time you pull your credit report. They kind of estimate what your mortgage rates would be, what your home equity lines would be, and what auto loans would be when it comes to the rates they would charge for your particular credit. At 602, this individual isn't even on the chart. It starts at 620. Continuing down. All right. Now, credit at a glance is very useful because here it shows the personal information and previous addresses. For CreditSense clients, you'll know that these previous addresses are not helpful to your credit score and or your credit or your loan underwriting points. So you're being instructed on the various worksheets that you do to get those previous addresses removed. Over here, again, it shows the summary. Currently there are no past accounts due. The credit history is 14 years. And there's 5 flags, 5 accounts with negative indicators. Then it shows the revolving accounts, mortgages, and installment loans, and what those balances are that are being reported on this credit report with Equifax. All right, again, total number of accounts, accounts with balances, accounts open in the last year, inquiries, collections, public records, etc. Now, let's go to the accounts. This is the account summary. And the account summary basically says what's the account name, the account number, the date that it was opened, its balance, and its current status, and whether or not it's been flagged. Flagged is the negative indicator saying that it's hurting your score. So this is the total number of accounts that this individual has and the various status that each account has. Now, moving on, then we go to the individual account details. And this is a pretty intelligible report. It's very simple to see what's going on with each account. Here, the status is the date that was most recently reported and or when the credit report was pulled, the date that it was open, date of last activity, and the account type. This says that it's a department store, but notice down here it's a charge account, but there are no contact information is provided by Equifax. And so if you're a CreditSense client, you would have to pull the creditor information that you need for your creditor directory from a different credit report and not this one because it doesn't list the contact information for this particular account. Now you'll see that the balance is 0 is a lost or stolen card. That means it was just closed. Let's go to an installment loan. This one is an example of a student loan. Shows what the balance is. They are currently paying the account as agreed. There's been no 30, 60, or 90s. Worst delinquency, none reported. And under description, it's a student loan. Once again, the date that it was opened, the date that it was last activity, type of account, etc. All of this information is available in bite-sized pieces so you can understand what's going on with each account. If you're a CreditSense client, these reports are going to be important to reconcile your other credit reports to ensure that all of the accounts are accurate so that you can put them on your list of derogatories and things to audit if there are discrepancies. Okay, now let's continue. Here's another U.S. Department of Education, so another student loan with the balance paid as agreed, no delinquencies. Let's go to one that does show a delinquency. Here is a credit union. It is a line of credit. Most lines of credit that are only $300 are usually check guarantee credit lines. It shows that there is a balance. Currently, they're paying the account as agreed, but there was one time a 30-day late. And notice in the recent payment history, it goes back and shows 30-day late. Now, what's interesting is in the legend, you will see in subsequent accounts, this legend grows to explain every single one of the derogatory indicators. So here, since it goes 30, it shows okay means currently paid as agreed, and 30 means 30 days late. And then it tells us the worst delinquency, of course, was 30 days late. Let's scroll down until we get to a significantly late one. All right, let's take a look at this one. Balance is 0, but here's the number of times. 6 times it was 30 days late. Number of times it was 60 days late. Number of times it was 90 days late. It was an installment loan. It was a mortgage company, and the account was closed for less than full balance, and it was a foreclosure. So when you go through here, you'll see the recent payment history. It shows all of the different times it was late and how long it was late. And then here in the legend, it will actually go through and indicate what a 30, 60, and 90, what each one of the indicators means. Then whatever the worst one is, it says, oh, the worst delinquency on this account was 120 plus days, and gives you more information about what that means to your credit score. Okay, continuing. Here's another mortgage version, and bad debt went to collection. So every single one of these accounts have all of the information in. Now, if you're a CreditSense client, you're going to want to extract all the information out of each account to put into your tables, your worksheets, and your spreadsheets. All right. Now, there's no need to go over every single type of account. All of them have the same indicators. Very easy to understand and very easy to read. All right, let's go down to the end and through inquiries. Now, MyFico.com credit reports do not show every kind of inquiry that's out there. This one shows the inquiries that affect your credit score. So in here is where they would list anything that is costing you that 6 to 10 points against your credit score, and they stay on your credit report for 24 months, but they only count against your score for 12. All right, so continuing here, up above, we were discussing what types of accounts, trade lines that are on the credit report. Here's the list of collections. So it tells, it actually codes what kind of a collection agency it was and what the amount was and the account number. And then if you're a CreditSense client, you will be extracting this information, balances, current balance, all that stuff to put on your tables and worksheets. Here, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 collection accounts. And they code the collection agencies here. So CreditSense clients will need to pull the collection agency and their contact information from one of the other credit reports. Usually your annualcreditreport.com or the consumer disclosures that come directly from each of the credit bureaus will have the most complete creditor information so that you can contact, work out settlements, negotiations, according to what you decide to do on your worksheets. Okay. And then finally, the last section is the public records. And as we've seen on some of the other credit reports, this client has 2 public records, and it's a legal item, the date that it was filed. So that's the date you would put on your deletion summary, and on as a CreditSense client, you want to put that on your, use that as your start date for your deletion worksheets, and you'll want to use that count 7 years from that date for your implementation plan and calendar. That brings us to the end of the MyFico.com Equifax tutorial.